Aloha and welcome to JayDreamerZ. That's my channel and I'm JayDreamerZ. Today we're going to talk about something very interesting. You've heard of north, east, south, and west. The cardinal directions, the directions that are fixed, that are always been the same as far back as the beginning of time. At least that's what we've been led to believe. You see, I believe that there are esoteric directions. And what we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer the directions. We're going to go back in time so that we can learn what the directions were a long time ago in comparison to the directions that we're used to today. I believe that the directions were changed. Hey, creating at Homestead in Colorado. Right on. Welcome to my channel. All right. So let me just double check before we jump into everything. We're going to do a lot of sharing today. Not that. Boom. That's fine. All right. Let me make sure everyone's in the chat. We're good. Everyone can hear me. Hey, everyone can hear me. All right, cool. Well, hey, welcome everyone. Good to see you all. Hopefully the sound is good. Hopefully the visuals are good. Everything's working fine. I'm going to jump right into the presentation. Now, this moment, I want to show you my channel, okay? I was doing a Truth in Movies episode where I break down the symbolism within the movies as I see it and how it pertains to our deeper questions of life and the symbolism and secrets of life and to our reality and our realm that we live in. And I was doing the Lord of the Rings. This particular moment popped out at me because afterwards I went back and I read the chat and the comments, and someone had left a comment about this particular comment that I was making about the movie. So let's go ahead and check it out. So Aragorn comes up to him and they're talking about how something is stirring in the east, a sleepless malice. This is interesting, this whole east and west symbolism, right? Okay, real quick, I'm going to interrupt myself. So that reminded me when he said something stirring in the east. These directions, okay, come up quite often in my research, but sometimes I find contradictions where something is said to be in the east, but it doesn't seem to fit in the east. Or something is said to be in the far west, but it doesn't seem to fit. Let's go ahead and listen. For me, I've found that there are other symbolic directions, okay? For me, symbolically, east is not like off to the side that way or off to the side that way or whatever, but east is up towards the sky. And then west is inward towards the inside of the earth. Excellent. Thank you, self. Thank me. So yes, if you didn't catch that, basically they were saying that something is, some sleepless malice lies into the east or something like that. And it just reminded me because it's come up so many times and I hadn't talked about it and I had mentioned it a couple of times. So others were asking me, wait, go back. What did you mean? What did you mean when you said that there are symbolic directions, right? There are esoteric symbolic directions. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to jump right into that. And I want to thank the person. I can't remember who it was. I believe they were in the chat soon after this or in a comment, but they had left me a comment saying that it reminded them what I had said reminded them of a 21 Pilots song called Nico and the Niners. And in that song, the lyrics constantly say over and over and over. Wow. Hey, thanks, Serving Angel. The lyrics constantly say over and over and over that east is up. 21 Pilots, right? This gets so deep into so many other things, but I'm going to try to stay focused right now. So I read these lyrics. I had not ever heard this song ever up until this point. And I'm looking at this song and I had to watch the video. And then I had to start breaking down some more 21 Pilots symbolism. And I've always liked 21 Pilots. And many of their songs had resonated with me, specifically resonated with some of the symbolism that I present to many of you concerning the plasma apocalypse. So let's check out some of these lyrics to this song called Nico and the Niners. And I'm going to break down the symbolism of the title of the song as well. But they say, east is, I can't sing it. They say, east is up. I'm fearless when I hear this on the low. Now time out real quick. East is up. That's the first thing in the song, right? Well, technically it's not. There's some backwards lyrics, which I'll show you in just a minute. They say, East is up. I'm fearless when I hear this on the low. When you hear something on the low, that means that you're privy to a secret. Someone's telling you a secret, something that you're not really supposed to know about. First thing they come out and say is, hey, guess what? Disclosure, boom, everyone, East is up. There it is. I'm fearless when I hear this on the low, right? East is up. I'm careless when I wear my rebel clothes. Right, rebel clothes typically I've found are those in the red spectrum, mostly because I feel like red is the rebellious color, right? Because when we have the red sky, it's the whole symbolism of magic re-entering into our world, and the world changing from the blue sky to the red sky, and the apocalypse and the reset, etc. Anyway, East is up. When bishops come together, they'll know that Dema don't control us. Dema don't control us. I'm not going to get into the whole lore that was created by the 21 Pilots, which I don't believe it was just created. I don't think anything is made up or original, really. Everything is repeated. Everything is on repeat. There's nothing new under the sun. East is up. And then they go on to say, they want to make you forget. They want to make you forget. They want to make you forget. Like these people that he calls Dema. Basically, you could say that is our worlds, okay? Our world, our realm that we live in, our government, those entities who are in control spiritually and physically. They want to make you forget. Now, here's something important. Before I go any further, I have been researching for so long now, and when I came across, I've always known, I've always felt like the movies are speaking to me. Like they are dropping me breadcrumbs of truth all over the place, which is why I break down movies and I talk about the truth in movies. I also felt that way about songs. And it first occurred to me, one of the first times that I remember, is whenever I realized that there are so many love songs that seem to be, and at the time I thought it was about the devil. Like people are just singing love songs to the devil or to Satan or whatever, right? And then that we misinterpret that as they're singing love songs to their boyfriend or their wife or their girlfriend or whoever, right? But it's really a deeper love song about something else, about some god that these performers worship. And that's where I was at the time. I have grown since then. And since then, I have seen the connection to all of these different lyrics and all of these different songs that seem to be, for the most part, discussing one timeline. They're talking about one event that happens over and over and over. The songs, they're just disclosure. And I got tired of hearing people say, well, they're hiding the truth in plain sight. And I'm like, that didn't sit well with me, because that just means that I haven't recognized the truth, which means it's not really being hidden. If it's hidden, it's my fault for not recognizing it. The truth is being presented. The truth is being given to us by so many of these artists, okay? Whether it be, and is it purposeful, right? Hey, Farida, thank you. Is it purposeful? It matters not. It could be accidental. They could be tapping into the ether. They could be prophets from God or from the devil or from somebody else. They could be in the Illuminati and have secret information. They could not know anything whatsoever, but just be in tune with the truth, right? Either way, I was recognizing truth after truth after truth, listening to these songs, all of the different songs that I listen to. I hear it everywhere. And then finally, my brain had to reconcile the fact that on one hand, we've got these people are sharing the truth with us, right? Over and over and over, being super repetitious. For example, like REM. Let me go back to something else here. Whatever. REM has a line in their video, and this is like every song, okay? There are exceptions, there are anomalies and stuff, but many, many, many songs. These people are speaking directly to us, and I'm picking up the pieces as they're laying them down, and I'm putting them together. So they want to make you forget. Somebody had recommended this song, Nico and the Niners. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole song right now, because we have a lot more to cover. But the key point to take away is that they say East is up over and over and over, and they're saying it like it's disclosure, like it's a secret, right? Now, I do understand that the 21 Pilots have created their own little storyline or whatever, but it just so happens that the storyline that they have invented or come up with matches the things that I've been sharing. I'm not saying that they got it from me, okay? I'm just saying that, I got it from the world. I got it from Mother Earth, from history, from all of you, from everyone, from everywhere, right? We're all repeating the same storyline over and over and over again. And it shook me to my core. Anyways, so I looked up this song, and at the very beginning, sure enough, they play backwards lyrics, right? Blatant, right in your face. Like, hey, clearly you can hear me talking backwards. I dare you to rewind it and play it, right? Why? Why go through all of this trouble, right? Is it just to generate sales because they know that they're going to stir up the conspiracy crowd, and the conspiracy crowd just happens to love our music? No, I don't think so. I think that they are sharing things with us that they can't share directly sometimes. Sometimes they have to share it indirectly, and sometimes they seem like the 21 Pilots and Imagine Dragons and some other bands. Sometimes they seem to just blatantly break the rules that it seems that they have to live by. Rules like you are not allowed to be blunt or direct. You need to come across as if you're being, as if you're talking about something fantastic, as if you're being creative, as if, you're allowing the audience to just internalize everything that you're giving to them, right? So this is the very beginning of the song. These are the backwards lyrics, and they go, "We are banditos." Banditos, bandits, rebels, basically, right? "You will leave Dema and head true east." Now, in their little lore and storyline, Dema represents our world, okay? Specifically the center of our world. "You will leave Dema and head true east." Okay, so in order to get out of this place, because in all of their songs where they reference this place called Dema, which is a bad place to be for them, they want to get out. They want to escape. That's another synchronicity that I have found. Prone to wander. Hey, thank you. Wow. Thank you very much. That's another synchronicity I found. They are all talking about escape. For the most part, they're all talking about, we got to get out of here. We got to leave this place. Like, they're all talking about leaving the earth before a cataclysm strikes, so that they can go to a different place and live under a blue sky once again, so that they can live under these conditions and continue on under these conditions. Anyways, so they talk about how to leave Dema, which is our world, right? You have to head true east. So you have to head east to leave the world? That's strange too. Then they say we renounce Vialism. And Vialism is allegedly a made-up word from the 21 Pilots. And it's just the word vile. And then belief in the vile, right? A belief in the vile. What's that a reference to? Glass vials. That glass containers that typically hold some sort of an elixir or liquid or potion or something like that, right? They give you the context. They show you what is inside of the vials in their music video. You have to go check it out. Inside of those vials is plasma. It is this belief that they can capture spirit or essence of life, electromagnetic energy, and contain it in glass containers called vials. And this is the world we live in today. We have lights, light bulbs all over the place, neon signs, etc. Vialism, also, it's a play on the word vile, right? V-I-L-E, which means something bad, something not good, that they're trying to harness and contain and store spirit itself, right? Anyway, so I'm looking this up, and I think it's really interesting. So it gets deep when it comes to the 21 Pilots. I had no idea. I hadn't really followed them that closely. I just rocked out to their music, and many of their songs, especially like Chlorine and some other songs, I'm like, wow, that's totally a part of my, of the plasma apocalypse that I talk about. Like there's chlorine in the sky, etc. And it blew my mind. But then there's an entire website devoted to basically sharing all of these clues that the band is giving to you. Not some fun Easter egg hunt for their fans, okay? Like, these people are trying to make money and stuff, you know what I mean? All of this extra stuff is not making them a lot of extra money, in my opinion. They're not doing it just for fun. just to lead you on a wild goose egg hunt or whatever that's called. But anyways, if you go to this website, somebody found that if you go to their website, there's a secret web address, right? Contained within the website, or at least there used to be. And if you go to this web address, you come to this website. Now, this one I'm going to read to you right now. It says, warning or error, you are in violation. They mustn't know that you were here. No one should ever find out about this. You can never tell anyone about this for the sake of the other's survival. You must keep this silent. That's the shh. That's the secret shush, right? That's, hey, if you know the secret, don't talk about it. And there's good reason for that. I totally understand. I mean, I break the rules, but whatever. There is good. I totally get why they say stuff like this. You must keep this silent. We must keep silent. No one can know. No one can know. No one can know. And then it breaks up, right? This is just a portion of their website. Jedi, whoa, thank you. Thank you, Jedi. Super appreciate it. Now check this out. Here's another portion of the website, right, where they're dropping all these clues. I'm gonna read this one too. It says, "Get out. The compass lies. The compass lies. North, east, south, and west is wrong. The compass lies." This is what they're saying, right? They don't control you. Get out. You're not controlled by these cardinal directions. You're not stuck in this world. NASA and Elon and all the other space agencies, they're not the only ones who are allowed to go, who are allowed to leave. Many people I've heard in the truther communities talk about how, oh, that's a prison world and I feel trapped here. And guess what? You're saying the exact same things that all of these songwriters have said for decades. You're just reciprocating it. No wonder we love their music, right? Because it hits us subconsciously because we don't really process the lyrics. But they don't control you. Get out. If you want to leave this world, if you don't like the energy here, you don't like how things are going, you can leave. The compass lies. They don't control you. Get out. The compass lies. It says over and over. And you may have noticed that some of the letters are capitalized. All the capitalized letters say east is up. They're talking about how you're stuck here or they're stuck here. They're talking about how you don't have to be controlled because we're all slaves. We're all controlled by the governments of the world. Nobody has complete freedom. There's just a fallacy and a fiction known as freedom these days. And we're stuck inside of this world. And there is some truth to that. It says east is up and that's the hidden message in there. That's the key. They're trying to tell you if you want to get out, you need to go east. And east is not left or right. East is up. So the album that this song is on is called Trench. Just a little side note. It's really interesting to me because they talk about Trench as a place, I believe, in our world. Okay. Trench is a place in opposition to Dema as a place. Dema is a bad place. Trench is a place of refuge for the characters in their songs, basically. And the root of trench means to cross over, to pass through, or to overcome. Basically to go from one place to another, right? To survive as well. The trunk of a tree, it's also related to the word tree, deru. And this would be the world tree. Okay? They're talking about Mount Meru. They're talking about the world tree going down into the trenches, going into the earth, etc., going to the plasma volcano at the North Pole, Mount Meru. Okay, now let's step away from 21 Pilots just for a moment. We'll come back to that, but I want to talk about East and West. Now, one of the most famous locations of the West, when people talk about the West, was a place that Hercules had gone to. Let me read this here. Hercules had to perform these 12 labors to sort of a sort of penance for some evil atrocities that he had committed. So Hercules had to perform 12 labors. One of them, the 10th labor, was to fetch the cattle of Geryon, of the far west. You see that? You may have come across this type of wording before. Far west. Let me just stop right there. In our school system, in these days, in academics and popular and mainstream beliefs, right? They will turn this into something else. Farida, hey, good to see you again. They will turn this into something. They'll say, oh, far west. And they'll say that these people, whether it be Romans, Egyptians, Greeks, it doesn't matter. When they say, oh, when they thought about the far west, they were thinking about America because nobody had been here and America hadn't been discovered, etc., which is complete garbage, I believe, according to my research. America has been discovered and rediscovered over and over and over again, right? Many of the lands in this world have. But for some reason it's fed to us like, oh, it was just a mystery continent. No one knew it was here. You know, it's ridiculous, especially when you go and do research about the ancient Phoenicians and how they were seafaring people and were literally known to explore the entire world on boats for the most part. Anyways, all right, so Hercules had to go fetch the cattle of Geryon of the far west and bring those cattle to Eurystheus. And this marked the westward extent of his traveled, the furthest west that could be gone. Essentially, this is why the Pillars of Hercules are so famous. Is they say, okay, that they are the markers that Hercules established for his furthest west journeys that he went. Right. Well, how would that be possible? Doesn't matter if you believe in a plane of existence, in a realm, in a spherical globular model, whatever you believe in, it doesn't matter, because if you go west, it's infinite because you just go in circles. Okay, there is no far west. There is no end of the earth in the westwardly direction. Neither is there a far east or a easterly direction or whatever. There is further away to the left and further away to the right. Right? But if you keep going east, you're eventually going to be west and east are the exact same thing, basically, because you end up hitting right back around where you started. So this marked the westward extent of Hercules' travels. A lost passage of Pindar, quoted by Strabo, was the earliest traceable reference in this context. The pillars, which Pindar calls the gates of Gades, when he asserts that they are the furthest most limits reached by Hercules. Hold on, let me double check the chat. I'm so excited right now. Like, I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. I just got to make sure there's no problems. Everything's good. That's why I love the Good Vibe Tribe. You guys are always on top of letting me know if there's anything wrong and stuff. So it looks good. Nobody's complaining. So I'm going to keep going. All right, so we're talking about Hercules real quick. Let me get rid of this trench. I have a lot of websites open right now, so hopefully we've got a continuous stream going here. All right, I'm going to come back to those. All right, so the pillars which Pindar calls the gates of Gades, or Gades, it's more of a guttural sound, so it actually sounds kind of like Hades. When he asserts that they are the furthest most limits reached by Hercules. Hercules, whatever, he's a god. Do you think maybe that according to the legends and according to the traditions that a god might be able to go further than the Strait of Gibraltar or the Atlantic Ocean? You know what I mean? They're similar and in my opinion, the exact same gods with different names, different descriptions, different cartoonifications of how they look, that clearly left their mark on continent after continent, that they traveled, that they clearly were capable of just doing more than walking on foot with a band of fellow travelers. You know what I mean? Hercules didn't just go to the Strait of Gibraltar and he's like, wow, this is really far west, Hercules. Yes, let me put up some pillars here. No. It doesn't sound right. What else do we got here? Plato placed the fictional island of Atlantis, or Atlan. I highly recommend checking out that word, ATL. Atlantis. Beyond the Pillars of Hercules. So Atlantis is beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Wherever this is, if it's super far west, right? It's got to be beyond those pillars. But the problem is, if you go west and you go beyond the west, you are right back where you started. So the Pillars of Hercules should just be wherever you are, right? That doesn't make sense. So west cannot be off to the left or off to the right. Let's go a little bit further. In reference to the Phoenicians, the Hittites, and the Jews, all had comparable ideas about the shape of the world. They all lived in the center of the earth, right? Isn't that normal? Like most civilizations, they put their map around their country. They believe they're in the middle, etc. But we do have a middle already. We left that place, right? We disregarded it. We spread out, and one day we'll go back. It says they all believed that the edges of the world's disk were inhabited by strange animals. The edges of the world's disk. Interesting, right? Now let's think about that. In this cosmology that is being referenced right now, the world itself looked more like a snow globe. It had a little dome around it, and it had a little plane of existence in the middle, at the bottom, right? You cannot have edges if you have that dome structure, because it continues all the way. That's a part of the world. There is no edge. It just continues to wrap around. The edge is found in the middle. Okay? The edge of the world's disk, or however people want to look at it, okay? The edge is in the middle, where the opening lies, where there is an actual rim, where there is an actual edge that you can go into, which is an opening into the inner earth. According to every ancient legend and myth and all of my research indicates that this place exists, that there is an entrance, and there are many entrances, but there's one grand, huge entrance right in the middle. Anyway, and that place where the edge is, right? Not the outer edge. There's no outer edge if you have a covering, okay? It doesn't work. The edge is in the middle where there's an actual edge. That place is inhabited by strange animals. Strange animals are said to live inside of our world. That our world is filled on the inside with strange animals. One example is the mammoth, the woolly mammoth, right? Which is why you find so many of the mammoths around the Arctic Circle. They're frozen. They came up out of the middle of the world when they were allowed to leave, or whenever they were able to leave. They came up out of the middle, migrated, ended up in the Arctic Circle area. Unfortunately, looks like most of them froze to death instantaneously, but that's a different story. For example, the author of the Epic of Gilgamesh situated the monster Humbaba in the far west. And the author of the biblical book Jonah believed that the prophet fled to the far west, where he was devoured by a giant sea creature. Now, interesting too, 21 Pilots in their lore, in their stories and their songs, right? They have this character or this person known as Clancy. Okay. Clancy basically means, son of the red one. Okay. That's just my real quick interpretation. And in that story, Clancy talks about how he was in this place. Now let me show you the map where Clancy was real quick. I hope I'm not losing you guys. I'm so sorry if I am. I'm kind of all over the place, but I want to show you some stuff. Now, here's, remember I showed you this earlier where it says the compass lies and it says get out? Well, this is an entire web page full of these little breadcrumbs that 21 Pilots has dropped. This is a map that they drew or produced of this place called Dema, right? It's circular with these 9 towers right there in the middle. Those towers, if you look at them, they look exactly like the Towers of Oz. It looks like Superman's crystals in the Palace of Solitude, all kinds of things. Damn, where was I going with that? All right, hold on. Oh, the sea creature. That's right. So in this website where 21 Pilots drops all of these really strange clues, let me just scroll through, right? Basically, this map is the North Pole, okay? The old North Pole with the 4 islands, it's circular, it's divided by 4 rivers, etc., right? And right in the middle would be the plasma volcano. Anyway, or Mount Meru. Now, in the story, this guy, Clancy, he says that he was kidnapped by Dema. Dema basically told him that they want to use his celebrity, right? The 21 Pilots singer. They want to use his celebrity, and they wanted him to write songs to try to influence and manipulate all of you, the people. So he's sort of struggling with that and decides he's going to like break out of whatever contract or agreement he's made with them. And he's going to start dropping truth instead of dropping lies or whatnot. So anyways, he talks about how he went on this voyage in this area up here, and there was a sea creature, a monster. Same thing as in the old stories too. Now look at all these little examples. I just want to show you. I'm not going to read all of this right now, maybe another time. But these are all weird, strange little things that 21 Pilots has posted. And most of them are labeled moon, by the way, which is really interesting. And they've got all these strange pictures of things, just real anomalous, weird things on this secret website that was hidden inside of their own website. Now, I know most people would just jump to the conclusion, oh, it's just all fun and games. You know, they're making it up. They're trying to drive album sales or whatever. No, do you have any idea how much time and effort and thought go into putting stuff like this together? I mean, if you take a look at it, it gets really deep. And some of this stuff has been like inverted, flipped upside down. This, like, for example, this kind of looks like it could be maybe upside down, and that's like the top of a volcano or something. They've got all these really strange pictures. These letters too. These are handwritten letters that they wrote, and it's not just to promote their album or anything like that. The stuff that I write here, it's hard for me to convey this, because I've gone over all of it, and we don't have enough time for me to really cover this entire website. I might have to cover this in the future, I guess. Actually, I was thinking about reading that letter right there. Okay, so what's my point? Let me get back to my point here. I'm sorry. I'm rambling. All right, so we were talking about the Pillars of Hercules, how Atlantis was alleged to be beyond the Pillars of Hercules, right? Well, if it's not in the West, so let's move on, right? There was monsters, giant sea creatures in this place in the far West or whatever. Well, we've been to the far West, right? There's not a whole lot of sea creatures or whatever, monsters and stuff. The Phoenicians were making these facts known. In fancy, they placed the abode of the blessed there, and also the Elysian plain, where Proteus says Menelaus will go and make his home. But the deathless gods will escort thee to the Elysian plain and the ends of the earth. The ends of the earth. Well, it can't be off to the west, because west just wraps around itself, right? West gives itself a big hug and it turns back into west, and west is never ending. The ends of the earth. Where is Rhadamanthus of the fair hair, where life is easiest? No snow is there, right? That's because of all of the warm air from inside of the earth comes up out of the central opening, right? So at the actual center, at the actual North Pole, when there is land there may or may not be at this particular moment. I don't know. I assume that there is. Anyways, but warm air comes up out of the middle, right? And it actually helps us to see the northern lights and stuff like that. No snow is there, nor yet great storm, nor ever any rain, but always Okeanos, or Oceanus, the ocean, sendeth forth the breezes of clear blowing Zephyros, or the Zephyr, right? For Red Hot Chili Pepper fans. For both the pure air and the gentle breeze of the Zephyros, the west wind, right? Ooh, man. I'm gonna get us to the destination in just a second. Properly belong to this country. So this place, this island, this mysterious hidden island, whatever, that I believe is at our geographic North Pole, is referred to as being in the West. And then that the Earth's breath comes out of this place, that the wind of the Earth comes out of this far western island place, right? Excuse me. Excuse me, one moment. Since the country is not only in the West, but also warm, and the phrase at the ends of the earth properly belongs to it, where Hades has been mythically placed, as we say. Well, where is Hades? Inside the earth. That's where Hades is, right? Let me show you some examples, actually. Where are we here? I'll come back to that one. All right, so let me show an example. Let's say that you are right in the middle of South America over here, right? and you want to go to the far west. So you travel this direction. You go far west, and oh, well, the land of the gods must be Australia. But then they would say, no, there's further west. You can keep going. Well, the land of the gods must be Madagascar. No, you can go further west. Oh, we're back where we started. You see what I mean? Right? It's not west. This right here, the north part of our world, right at the lip, right at the lid, right at the entrance, right at the mouth of the world, is where the edges of the Western world begin, because you go whoosh, inside. Okay. Let me rewind that real quick, just in case. So let me draw you a better picture. North, pow, right there. That's where all your compasses are pointing. Okay. South is out here, around the outer ring area, we'll say. This is all south, okay? There are two directions in the ancient world as far as traversing our world. There is this direction going towards the middle, and this direction going away from the middle, towards the outside, north and south. So someone might ask, well, what if I'm in the middle right here, and I'm going this direction, like off in a slant? You're still going south, right? Even if you're going this direction, you're still going south. You're just going south right. You're going south to the right, like that. If you're going this direction, you're going south to the left, essentially, right? Anyways, that gets a little confusing. So let me just show you a better picture that I drew. Okay, so remember how I said in the old paradigms and the old ideas of the shape of our world, they drew it a bit more like a snow globe type of a look here. This blue line indicates our sky, which according to the ancient legends is solid. And then the earth opens up and has cavernous openings that go deep down inside of the earth, right? So right where the lip, right where the edge. Now remember, this is just a two-dimensional drawing. You would actually have to fill in all of these gaps and see that there is a hole right there in the middle. The lip, the edge, right there, the cliff, the trench is north. Okay, it's all magnetized. Why? I'll show you why it's magnetized. Boom. Because right now we don't have that blue beam shooting up in the middle. Otherwise, you would look outside, look to the north, and you would see the energy filling our world and the magic returning. So right now, that energy is way down in here, known as the dark sun, we'll call it. And it has receded, okay? And that has to do with the direction of travel of the energy of our world. Right now, it's going this direction. It's going down, okay? Just like that. All right. But the day will come when it reverses. When it reverses, that energy will find its way up through the interior, and it will go up. When this bluish white light, beam, plasma, energy shoots up, the friction that it causes between the internal parts of the earth in this particular area magnetizes it, right? Anyways, my point is, over here, this is you walking south, right? If you walk towards the middle, you're walking north. If you walk at a slant, right? Let's say, let me get rid of that. Let's say that you want to walk at a slant. Let's say you're right here and you want to walk north, but you're going at a slant. You're still going north, right? And what's going to happen is if you keep slanting, you'll spiral. You'll keep slanting. You're still going to keep going north. It's just going to take you forever to get there. And you're going to spiral, and eventually you'll end up north. You're just taking the long way, basically. You're going north, left, or north, right. Either direction, right? But we have east and west. Where does that come from? Well, east and west did not used to be called east and west. They used to be called the Occident or the Occident, Occidentalis, and that would be the name for the west, and Orientalis, or the Orient, right? That's where we get that for. Ok means, it has the same root for like, damn, I just lost it. Not esoteric, but occult, right? So ok, occult. It's the same exact root word, and it means to be hidden, okay? It means to be veiled. It means to be hidden and not seen. So when the sun, or that point of focus that goes around the world, when that is hidden and not seen, that's because it has gone that way. And it has gone away in that direction. When the or the light, or my light, the ori, is up in the sky and it comes up, which is another word for up is on. Another word for the sky or the heavens is on or an. It is Orion. It is the sun is coming up. That's where you get east and west from. So it used to be called Occidentalis and Orientalis. That basically, those are really fancy long words for left and right. Basically, depending on which way you're facing, right? That way or that way. So it wasn't called east and west. Let's think about this word. Let me check the chat real quick just to make sure everything's good. Everything is good. Hey, 347 people watching. Welcome to my channel. It's good to meet you all. All right, let's not slow things down. Let's keep on going. Hold on, I'll get to you in a minute, eyeball. All right, now let's think about and break down the words east and west, okay? They both end with the exact same thing. They both start with a different letter, essentially, okay? We have the ista, right? The ista. And then we have the wusta, or the westa, right? It's still the same sta ending. Okay, I know that we spell it differently and stuff, but we're studying etymology, so bear with me. Sta in the Proto-Indo-European means to stand, to set down, to make or to be firm, something that is established, essentially, with the derivative that means a place or something that is standing. It basically means place, something that exists, some physical place that's not going anywhere, basically, right? So the east, the esta, right? East is not really east. It's more like est, like Esther, or Easter, right? Now that first part, forget about the sta, because they both have that word that means place. So east means something place. West means something place. Place of something, right? Place of what? East, est, right? Esta. Hey, Micah, welcome. So this is the letter ayin. The ayin is e. Esta. The place of the eye is esta or ista. Up in the sky, where the eye opens up, the eye of God, the eye of Ra, the all-seeing eye. You know what I'm talking about, right? The eye of Saruman or whatever. It's the eye. It's the opening up of the sky during the depressurization event that happens every cycle, basically, right? It is the place, the fixed place up in our sky where the eye of God opens up occasionally, or the mouth of Kronos, or the face of Medusa appears, etc. It's commonly seen as the eye. Okay, one of the most common descriptions. It is the esta, the place of the eye, the place of the ayin, the place. You get the point, right? The other place, opposite of east, or ista, or esta, is the usta, or the wusta. Now that sound w, or u, is this letter. It's the vav. This west place is the place where this vav exists. What is a vav? Going way back in time, the picture form has changed, but the essence of the word has always remained the same, which is it conveys something that is stuck in the earth that is shooting up out of the earth. Much like a nail, much like a tent peg that shoots up and then branches out when it gets to the top. As you can see there in the original, it looks kind of like the letter Y today, right? And they called that a tent peg because they would nail it into the ground and they would wrap rope around that top part that looks like the Y part, right? That Y part, that's just the blue beam. This is all in reference to the ultimate quintessential tent peg or nail or vav or whatever you want to call it that shoots up out of the earth itself, which are the blue beams that come up out of the earth that, like we had already referenced, right? When that beam gets to the top where the sky is, because of how the magnetics work and repel the plasma, it splits, it shoots outwards, right? And it creates this sort of Y shape in the sky. towards the top. So that is the place of the hook. It's also known as a hook too. That's the place of the pole, the staff, the beam, the pillar, the column. That is the place. It is the usta, the place of the u, the place of the vav. Whew. All right. Anyways, let's move on to something else here real quick. Oh, this is lyrics from Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? I mean, this entire song is esoteric. Man, we could break down all these songs all the time. One of the lyrics says, "It's the edge of the world and all of Western civilization." Welcome, Robin. The edge of the world. And it's also it's the edge of Western civilization, right? Not United States civilization, okay? Like, we are only West in comparison to who, how far East or West you are in comparison to us. So, no, we are not West. We have brought a Western philosophy type of style, right? There is an Eastern philosophy, which comes from above, and there is a Western philosophy that comes from below, right? And Red Hot Chili Peppers say, "It's the edge of the world and all of Western civilization." The edge of the world is the edge of Western civilization right there. All right, now we're going to go over to Atlas. Where is the highlighted portion? There it is. Okay, so Atlas. Remember, we've talked about Atlas a few times. This is allegedly Atlas holding up the freaking globular world. That is not how he's portrayed. That is a poor. This is wrong, okay? This is not good, okay? This is not Atlas, okay? This has been manipulated based on current paradigms and current views of how the world looks. Atlas held up the sky. He did not hold up the earth and the ground whatsoever. He stood upon the ground and his arms reached up because he really is that blue beam that separates at the top. So it looks like two arms that are up like that. And then at the bottom, he's also got a little branch bowing out around the magnetic mountain, which give him his legs. He's known as the squatter man. That's why he's always squatting like that. It's not because the world is so heavy or whatever. It's just because that's the shape. And he happens to touch the sky, so they attributed him holding up the sky and keeping it from falling down upon the people, which also, according to tradition, happens from time to time. Atlas, or Atl, Oz, remember, means strength or strong. Exceedingly strong, really. And then Atl, like Quetzalcoatl. That's a good hint as to what that means. Anyways, check it out. Let me know what you find. So Atlas stood at the ends of the earth in the extreme west. So let's go back to our map real quick, right? Hold on. If Atlas stood, like where's a good extreme west? Let's say California. Boom. Let's say that's where Atlas stood allegedly. Well, where is this the extreme west from? Certainly not Australia, right? The stories of Atlas. I mean, you could say the extreme west is this way, right? So maybe that's not a good example. Let's say that you're in Hawaii, right? I mean, you could go all the way around, but it's also east of Hawaii. So it doesn't make any sense, okay? Basically, he's at the North Pole. And he is at Mount Meru, at the western border, where the west, or the inside of the earth, meets the top, meets the north, meets the middle of our world. Okay, so we talked about Occidentalis, we talked about Orientalis, we talked about how there were no west and east as being alongside the plane of existence, as in left or right, directionally, if you're traveling north or south, right? Man, I hope that doesn't go over a lot of you guys' heads. I'm so sorry if it does. Let's move on. So we talked about Atlos. What else we got here? Sometimes this stuff moves around. Sorry about that. Here it is. Okay, so this guy, Joseph Barber, I'm at this website in Wikipedia, and this guy's talking about Atlantis. Okay, and they're trying to figure out where Atlantis is, and they're guessing based on Plato's writing where Atlantis was located, And someone else commented that he probably contemplated some unknown land in the far west, beyond the ocean. Now, if you keep going west on this map that we're looking at, right, you can't really go beyond the ocean. Okay? If you're going west, you're just going to keep on going in circles. There's going to be ocean all the time. There is no beyond the ocean when you're going west, right? There is a beyond the ocean if you go this way or if you go this way, depending on how you look at it. But really, it's this way, the middle, right there. Hold on, I got to close some of these windows so we don't have any problems with our streaming. All right, so we talked about Atlas. We talked about how he stood at the far western edge of the world, right? They also liken this to the place of where Atlantis was. So Atlantis quite possibly could have been the North Pole, the land at the North Pole. And that land possibly could have been flooded and it could be underwater right now. I don't know. But that's a strong possibility. Now let's talk about the Hesperides, right? The Hesperides, a legendary garden at the western extremity of the world producing golden apples. Hesperides, also the name of the nymphs in classical mythology, who guard with the aid of a dragon from above, right? The dragon, plasma. They guard a garden in which golden apples grow. Okay, the golden apples are, I believe, plasma balls, basically, like ball lightning, basically. A legendary garden where these nymphs lived. Right? These little beings of light, or not little, they're probably gigantic. A legendary garden at the western extremity of the world that produces golden apples, right? Also synonymous with the sacred bees. Also, people went on trips to grab the honey. Also, Jason and the Argonauts went to go find the golden fleece at this exact same place. Now, this is interesting because this kind of means the, usually, in ancient languages. And then we've got Paradise. So let's take out that S and it says paradise. Paradise. That's related to the word paradise. Hasperadise. This might be related to the word hospital, hospice, hospitable, etc. And then we've also got a little nod to the Spartans too. Sparadis. Spartans. Sparadons, the Spartans. Anyways, let's move on to the next example here. Dang, this is all kind of changed around. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now this is the story of when Hercules met Prometheus, or Hercules came across Prometheus during his travels. Now, at this point in the story, Prometheus had already stolen the fire from the gods and shared it with the world, with mankind, with humankind, right? That fire is plasma. Okay, it's not actual fire. Fire existed before that. There was fires. People knew what fire was. Okay, at the very least, you could see nature produce fire quite often. If you just look at the example of lightning, and lightning hits something and it catches on fire, boom. So fire was not some new invention, some crazy idea. No, it was giving back the knowledge of plasma and how plasma and electricity and electronics all work, and electromagnetism and stuff, right? This is what Prometheus stole from the underworld, because the underworld has an inner plasma source, we'll say, and it is taken away from us every once in a while. And then the people forget all about it. They forget about plasma. They forget about electricity. They forget about electronics and stuff. And the magic and the knowledge dwindle. Right? As our resources are used up, as the pressure increases in this world, etc. And then finally, after another reset, that plasma, that light from inside the earth, the fire of the gods, comes out of the place where the fire is inside, which is a pyramid, or fire inside, a pyramid. The Titan, Prometheus, right? Now check this out. Prometheus, at this point in time, he had already given the light to the world. And because he did that, he was cursed, basically, to be tied to a mountain, which is Mount Meru. He's stuck at Mount Meru. And anyways, let me just read this. It says, the Titan, I'm so excited right now. So I hope that's okay with you guys. I'm kind of, rambling, but the Titan directed him concerning his course. So Prometheus was talking to Hercules, and Hercules was getting directions. He's already at the North Pole. Okay, he's already at the mountain where Atlas was, where Prometheus was tied to, etc. The Titan Prometheus directs Hercules. Hercules needs to get back to where he was. And he says, he directed him concerning his course through the land of the peoples in the farthest north, which means he's already at the north. He needs to go back through that land towards the south, basically, right? Furthest north, and the perils to be encountered on his homeward march after slaying Geryon in the farthest west, which is really the exact north, the place where you go inside of the earth, right? So he says this, Prometheus says this to Hercules. He says, follow this straight road. And first of all, thou shalt come to the Boreades. That's just like the word Borean, right? The place of the north, the land of the north. Where do thou beware the roaring hurricane, lest unawares it twist thee up and snatch thee away in a wintry whirlwind. So he's giving him instructions. Basically, at the center of our world, remember how I said the world breathes air, like warm air, up out of the middle, and it gives us it contributes to us being able to see the northern lights and how they twinkle and move and stuff like that, and some other things too. That swirling wind creates a current. That current creates a constant storm, right? Maybe it's more severe at times and less severe at other times. I don't know, but I do know that there is a current constantly wrapped around true exact center north. That current in the air is reciprocated by a current in the ocean that is constantly swirling and turning and churning around in circles, which is also referenced whenever you do research about Rupus Negra or Mount Meru. Also, we've got the destination of the Argonauts, Jason and the Argonauts, who went to go get the Golden Fleece, etc. This island was called affectionately Colchis. Colchis is thought to be a possible homeland of the Amazons, the Amazonian women. Amazons were said to be of Scythian origin from Colchis, Scythian origin. According to Greek mythology, Colchis was fabulously wealthy as a land situated on the mysterious periphery of the heroic world. The inner edge, the inner circle, inner periphery, right? Not outer. Here is the sacred grove of the war god Ares. A grove is a forest, right? Right in the middle of our world, at the North Pole, legends talk about there being a magic forest. A forest of huge trees, strange animals, weird creatures, tiny people, giants, all kinds of interesting stuff right at the middle of our world. And there is that grove that is referenced. King Aedes hung a golden fleece until it was seized by Jason and the Argonauts. Colchis was also the land where the mythological Prometheus was punished by being chained to a mountain, while an eagle ate at his liver for revealing to humanity the secret of fire. So this is also Jesus up on his cross. This is Prometheus being, something eating at the side. This is all plasma imagery up in the sky that people are watching a cosmic light show inside of our own world, and they're describing it in their own terms, right? Some people went there, some people dared not, but they wrote what they saw, and they wrote it in their own voice, in their own words, with their own flavor. And unfortunately, we go so far forward in time that we hear all of these exact same stories told with their various flavors and perspectives, and all we see is differences because we've been trained to only recognize differences instead of recognizing similarities. This is known as the Eastern Star, which is a subsection of the Freemasons. This is the female version. This is the symbol for the female side, I guess, of Freemasonry, right? It's called the Star of the East, right? And these people belong to the Eastern Star, basically, right? There is no Eastern Star if East is sideways, left, or right. Doesn't matter, because every star goes in that direction, right? They all go east. Every single star would eventually be the eastern star once it hits the horizon. But there is one star that is worshipped and acknowledged by people like this. This happens to say fatal on it, right in the middle of this star, Fatal, the fatal star, with that also has and carries the symbolism of the divine cup of wrath pouring out the red wine from the skies above. Also has connections to a blue sword or a blue beam that shoots up. Also columns and pillars, specifically columns that have things wrapped around them going up, twisting as they go. And then I can't remember the yellow. That could have, I'm going to skip the yellow for now just because my brain's on overdrive. And then the white, which is all of the light that comes down and into our world, in the world that we live in today. But anyways, basically this is the dark sun, okay? This is the star, the dark star, that it makes its appearance every once in a while. And you can see it when that blue beam shoots up and all the light shoots up at the sky, and then everything on the sky and possibly beyond the sky or beyond the skyline is revealed, and you can see it. You can see the opening up there. You can see the light on the other side, which is red because it's hydrogenated ions, or ionized hydrogen basically, or red plasma in the red spectrum. And you see this red eye, this evil eye that is up there. This is the eastern star. If east is up, being directly above the North Pole, where the North Star is right now, when the hole opens up in the sky and the world depressurizes, that opening where you can see the light coming through will be seen as the eastern star, the star of the east, which is up. West is inside the earth. So east is up. And this is the star. Otherwise, no star would be the eastern star because they all go eastward. Or, they all travel from the east to the west. At least today, on these times. Now, Nico and the Niners. Back to 21 Pilots, right? Nico. Nick, or Nick just means victorious. It means you survived, okay? It means you're a survivor, okay? Nico, the O is just the Vav. It's U. It means attached to something. So it means of the survivors. Nico is of the survivors, meaning those who survived the prior apocalypse and carried with them the knowledge, all right? And then the Niners, the number 9 is this letter right here, the Tet. The Tet. Those of the Tet are known as the Teton, the Teton, the Titans, etc. Their symbol is a circle with an X right through the middle of it. This is Nico and the Niners, those people who are from the land that looks just like this symbol, which is a circle, which is an island divided by 4 rivers at the center of our world. It's symbolized by the number 9, which is a spiral. So this is all related. Man, I need to take a drink. Hold on. I'm probably also kind of shaky because I've drank a lot of coffee in like the last hour. I was so excited to do this presentation. Let me jump into the chat. That's pretty much all I got. Let's get that creepy weird picture up off there and go back to this. We are the banditos. You will leave Dema and head true east. Basically what I'm trying to tell you guys, let me get all this off the screen. Okay, thank you. All right, let's make me a little bit bigger here. All right, so I think someone just joined my website. I just heard that little chime. Anyways, so in short, I believe that we are being given keys. We're being given clues. And some of these clues are given to us in the form of song. Not just movies, but in songs and stuff like that. So it blew my mind because whenever I had mentioned that during the live stream, that I believe the East is up, I don't believe that I've never even heard of this song. You know what I mean? I'm gonna open up the chat right now so I can see everybody. I'm actually gonna pop out the chat right now. So, yes, this is mind blowing for me. I hope that I was able to convey the passion and the mind blowing implications of what if this is true. You know what I mean? All right, I'm back in the chat. What's up, Sean P? Good to see you. Oh, you know what? I don't have my little chat highlight. Let me get that up. All right. Let's see. Webcam source. Boom. No. All right. Let's do this. I want to talk to you guys. I do. Actually, if you're new to my channel, I like to talk to my viewers, my subscribers, my members, or the members or whatever. I don't like to use the word followers and stuff like that too much, even, to each their own or whatever, but I like you guys and I want to hang out with you. So I would like to take a bathroom break. I'm going to go ahead and go do that. Let you guys have a moment to reconfigure, and then we'll come back. And I'm going to jump on the chat and put your comments on the screen. If you have a question or a comment that you'd like me to highlight, we'll come back and we'll do like about 20 minutes so that I can chat with you guys and see what you think about this presentation. That east is up. Okay, to recap, we've got south, we've got north, and then we've got the basically left and right, right? And then we've got down, which is west. But in order to get down, you have to go to the north in order to go to that grand, large opening. Don't get me wrong, there are other openings, okay? It's just that the largest opening is at the north. And then east is up. East is up into the sky. All right, let's take a break real quick, and we'll come back, and we'll do some more.
Around the world men's thoughts will fly, quick as the twinkling of an eye, and waters shall great wonders do. How strange, and yet it shall come true. Beneath the water men shall walk, shall ride, shall sleep, shall even talk, and in the air men shall be seen in white and black and even green. For in those wondrous far-off days the women shall adopt a craze to dress like men in trousers wear, and to cut off their locks of hair. They'll ride astride with brazen brow as witches do. On broomsticks now there'll be a sign for all to see. Be sure that it will certain be. Then love shall die and marriage cease, and nations wane and babes decrease, as wives shall fondle cats and dogs, and men live much the same as hogs. Pictures alive with movements free, boats like fishes beneath the sea. When men like birds shall scour the sky, then half the world deep drenched in blood shall die. Then half the world deep drenched in blood shall die. For those who live this century through, in fear and trembling this shall do. Flee to the mountains and the dens, to bog and forest and wild fens. For storm will rage and oceans roar, when Gabriel stands on sea and shore. And as he blows his wondrous horn, old worlds die and new be born. Fiery dragon will cross the sky 6 times before this earth shall die. Mankind will tremble and frightened be, for the 6 heralds in this prophecy. For 7 days and 7 nights, man will watch this awesome sight. The tides will rise beyond their ken to bite away the shores, and then the mountains will begin to roar, and earthquakes split the plain to shore, and flooding waters rushing in will flood the lands with such a din that mankind cowers in muddy fen and snarls about his fellow men. And when the dragon's tail is gone, man forgets and smiles and carries on to apply himself. Too late, for mankind has earned deserved fate. His masked smile, his false grandeur will serve the gods their anger stir, and they will send the dragon back to light the sky. His tail will crack upon the earth and rend the earth, and man shall flee king, lord, and serf. And men will die of thirst before the oceans rise to mount the shore, and lands will crack and rend anew. You think it's strange, it will come true. And in some far-off distant land, some men, oh such a tiny band, will have to leave their solid mount and span the earth, those few to count. And those surviving this will then begin the human race again. But not on land already there, but on ocean bed, stark, dry, and bare. Not every soul on earth will...
Whew, all right. Hey, what's up? Hey, everyone. Good to see you. All right, let me get my headphones in here, my little headset. Hey, somebody in the chat, I was checking out the chat during the break, and someone had mentioned the witch, the Wicked Witch of the West, right? Which is the West, actually. So the Wicked Witch of the West. The West is the place where the fallen ones landed, and then Glinda, the Good Witch, is of the East, and she has the ability to fly. She flies down and she floats down from the sky, from above. The Wicked Witch of the West, and she's green, kind of like goblins and stuff like that are painted. Whew, interesting. Yeah, colors are a whole different subject though. Also, when things go south, is that good? Right? Is it ever good when something goes south? Like, oh man, I was at this wedding, but then things went south. Like, you know what I mean? It's going south, like in the movies, people are always going north. Or symbolically, esoterically, they're going west, which really means they're headed in a northerly direction. Right? They're headed to the west, to the western extremities of the earth, which is the plasma volcano, or the lip therein that leads you inside. You take a leap of faith, you jump in, you go down into the, it's like the virgin jumping in or being thrown into the volcano, symbolism, etc. What was that movie with Denzel where he was traveling west, remember? And he had to take the Bible, and some voice told him, like, you have to preserve this Bible and take it to the west, like to the far west. Not just west, far west. So we interpret that to mean like, oh, that direction. I don't think so. All right, let's get this chat up and running. Let's see. If you want to get my attention, please do type in at JayDreamerZ or just Jay, J-A-Y. And I'll highlight your chat and try to answer you here or respond. Let's see if it works. Oh, yeah, it does. Cool. All right, let's move this up a bit. All right, I'm going to try to catch up here in the chat. We're going to go start off with Chuck and Chambers. Says, what's up? What's up, Chuck and Chambers? Anne Marie says, hey, Jay, thanks for everything that you do. Info on point as always. Thank you. Awesome. Gary Feltham says, J-Man, you're full of positive energy. Great as always. Awakened Alliance 2. Thank you. Joni Vandy says, Jay, brain is scrambled lately. Depths. What else we got here? Gary Feltham says, it makes a lot of sense, JayDreamerZ, right on. I'm glad some of you guys were following along. I'm sure that might go. I try not to go too far over people's heads. I like to be just high enough that they can grab something if they need to. Yeah, the Book of Eli. That's what it was. Thanks, Phil. Super appreciate you. Anne-Marie Penton says, you rock. Thank you. Super appreciate it. Candy Jones says it's all good. Right on. Thanks, Candy. Curry says, Jay, Chinese myth, Journey to the West. Okay, we'll have to check that one out. Yeah, this is all really interesting stuff. So basically, what are the implications of this, right? And specifically what I'm talking about is, what I'm asking is, what are the implications if we do have those entertainers that are out there that are coding truth, that are just telling truth in story form. They're cartoonifying the truth. And sometimes, because we are so conditioned to not believe the truth when we hear it, to just straight up reject the truth and to call it fantasies and lies and fiction and not real and not established and not empirical, right? What if there are those groups that are out there giving us that truth, but we just reject it and we call them all, we just label all of them satanic or bad or evil. Why? Because they're talking about things that we have forgotten and therefore we don't understand, which generates fear inside of us? Possibly. I say it's time to relook at a lot of these songs, movies, lyrics, everything, because I believe that we are being given disclosure. I believe that the truth is being disclosed, but it is only for those who have the ears to hear it and the eyes to see it. Jumping back in the chat, Aaliyah. Hey, Aaliyah says, you try not to go too far east over our heads, Jay. You try not to go too far east over our heads. Oh, I see. It's a joke. Okay. Over east is up over your head. I got you. Okay. Taylor Michael says, Jay, so what do you think about simultaneous parallel realities? What do I think about them? I give them 5 stars. I think they're great. Recommend them to everybody. Jay Braun says, Jay, don't Freemasons say something about traveling man and going east? Possibly. I don't know a lot about what Freemasons say because I'm not one, so I don't know a lot about it. Also, let me go back to Taylor real quick because I'm sure he's being genuine, asking a genuine question. What do I think about simultaneous parallel realities? I totally believe in them. I believe in everything. I believe everything has an element of truth to it. I call it the fractal verse, and I refer to it quite often. In pop culture, it's referred to as the multiverse, basically, right? But it is definitely a reality of mine, and I talk about it quite often. Rhonda says, Jay, there is a Jack Nicholson movie called Going South about mining gold out west. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see. We got Jay Braun says, Jay, have you seen Attack on Titan and Dr. Stone? I have not seen Attack on Titan. I have researched Attack on Titan. I might as well have. I feel like I've seen it because it's come up so much in my research, especially whenever I'm researching Titans and Giants and stuff like that. And Dr. Stone, I have read the original manga of Dr. Stone. I have not seen any cartoons or anything like that, though. But yeah, it's right on point, especially when talking about the petrification weapon, as some people may call it, the cosmic petrification that happens, that turns the ancient world into stone and brings us back to an age of stone, or the Stone Age. Reco Star says, JayDreamerZ, did you mention what's Dema and what's in the east? Yeah, east is up. So the sky is in the east. The exit to this world is in the east. You can go inside of the world where it's nice and comfy and safe, and that's where it's designed to harbor life, is on the inside. We sort of lived on what academics calls the crust, right? Which is not a place that sounds too nice to live. I don't really want to live on the crust. That doesn't sound like a great place to live. Did I mention what's Dema? Dema, I don't want to get too deep into all of the lore of 21 Pilots at this particular moment because I have to do more research on it. But in short, I believe Dema represents this world, and the bishops that are in charge of this world are those unseen elements behind our world governments, essentially. And what to do when you get there? I might have missed the beginning. Well, rewind it. I mean, if you missed the beginning, rewind it. I don't want to be, I'm not trying to be rude, but I hear a lot of people say that, and they insist that I repeat myself instead of simply rewinding. Oh yeah, Wagons East, John Candy movie. Wade's in the chat and says, if east is up, west is down. Are there any references to our compass of east and west having different words? I don't know. Good question. I'm sure we could find out the answer, right? Anytime my son asks me this kind of stuff, right? Because my son asks a lot of questions. If I don't know, I say, hey, let's find out. It's just, instead of just saying, I don't know, right? I say, let's find out. Let's Google that. Let's research that. Get the dictionary out. Get the thesaurus. Let's dive in. Let's find out. The answers are there. We can find them, right? They're not locked away somewhere. They're everywhere. Sometimes people ask me, like, where do I get my information from? What are my sources or whatever? Everything's connected, right? Just like that one guy, I think it was Taylor actually earlier. I was talking about the multiverse, or referencing the multiverse, right? If there is a multiverse, then everything has to be connected, right? It's all connected. There is no separation. There's no space at all. There is just, a change of frequency, right? Things change. But there is no disconnect at all whatsoever. Jay, do you think people caused the blue beam? No, I don't think people caused the blue beam. Do you think these people can be hidden away to think they are nothing? I'm not sure what people you're referencing. But can the energy of our world be manipulated by others? Yes, I do think that, if that's what you're asking. So can people manipulate or like try to hurry up the apocalypse? Yes, I definitely think that's a possibility. And I do believe that there's many examples in our recent history where the world governments have tried to kickstart the apocalypse, but just wasn't happening. And I believe that that's also something that might be right around the corner for us as well. Why? Why do they want to start the apocalypse? Not because they're just hateful, not because they just love blood and violence and gore. It's because they want out. They want to live. They want the world to go through an apocalyptic event where many people will die so that they can live, because they know how to get out, which is to go up, which is to go east, which is to leave through the portal, through the Sipapu, through the Nibiru, or the place of the crossing up in the sky. Let's see. We got Eyes to See in the chat who says, "Hi, Jay. Check out your picture." I like that. "Hi, Jay. I just wanted to send some appreciation and love from the so-called." Right on. Well, shout out to the so-called. Who else we got? Escape from Babylon says, "JayDreamerZ, have you..." Oh, I left my coffee downstairs. Dang. JayDreamerZ, have you ever experienced a traumatic event or life-altering episode that lifted the scales off of your eyes at once, or gave you a massive download of discernment, or was it a gradual process? Good question, Snake. Escape from Babylon. No, I'm not one of those people that will jump on YouTube or go to a church or something and be like, "I remember it clearly. The date was October 31st. It was Halloween. It was an evening and someone had just knocked on my door. And then I saw some information and it blew my mind, or I was saved, or whatever." No, I don't have like a date. I have not had some like, "Oh, wow, this kind of information happens all the time to me." And it has all of the time since I was a child, except when I was a child, I was less inclined to really talk about it with other people because we're encouraged not to, basically, right? Aaron B says, "Jay, are we going under mass brainwashing?" Yes. "And do you think the human species has a sort of amnesia?" Yes. "Because we truly come from greatness." Everything comes from greatness, right? I mean, if we say we come from greatness and everything's connected, we got to say everything comes from greatness, right? "And we are letting things run amok per se." No, they're not running amok. They're going according to plan. Like, there's a greater picture. Just because we're not in control or individuals are not in control does not mean that things are not going according to plan, I don't think. Leah's in the chat and says, "Jay, thanks for your time and energy presenting this material. It takes a lot to make videos on a frequent basis." Yeah, you're super right. It's like, it takes a lot of time. So I appreciate that you recognize that. Taylor Michael Thompson says, "Jay, what are your theories on how to get out?" I mean, you could build a spaceship. That's definitely, I mean, like, I'm sort of joking because, you know, who builds spaceships, right? Or who knows how to build a spaceship? But guess what? Learn. You could totally learn how to build a spaceship. How do you think NASA did it? How do you think Elon Musk did it? They just studied and learned and figured it out. And now they can blast off, right? And they are. And they're out there testing it out all of the time. They're testing the firmament. They're testing the limitations. They're figuring out where we are. They're mapping it out. They're recording it. Why? Well, the story we're getting is a little bit different than the one that I'm sharing with you. So there's a contradiction, or at least there's what seems to be a contradiction there. There's something else going on, basically. You can get out. One, you can go in, you can find safety and solitude within the earth itself, just like they do in the Matrix, right? When they go down into Zion where the earth is still warm, etc. If you notice, Zion wasn't full of lava in the Matrix movies. In the Matrix movies, right? Like, that would have been it. There would have been no Matrix movies if the Earth's core was lava or whatever they say it is. It's ridiculous to me. What else do we got? We got Piercing the Veil says, JayDreamerZ, I have noticed that the accounts of people experiencing glitches in the Matrix has seemed to steadily increase, and it will until the end. Could that be because the plasma of our realm is at a boiling point? Yes, that's one way of saying it, and I totally agree. That's a great way of saying it. Totally agree with you. Heedful Gibbon says, Jay, does this make sense? Everything from atoms to the firmament is made up of matrices. All matrices have weak points, spaces, holes, pores, and portals. Ooh, I like how you're thinking. Yes, you're totally right. It actually goes right along with your picture that you have of the guy peering underneath the dome. And I totally agree with you. There's always anomalies. There's always exceptions. I believe that there are ways out of this world, like little shortcuts, little sealed off areas or whatever. And I believe that that's backed up by various legends and lore. Radomir says, Jay, exactly what I needed. It makes so much sense. You're very welcome. I have to tell you, all of you, I've only shared this with like a few very, very, very small amount of people, which I consider to be my close family or friends. My mind is just, it's not just my mind. It's my whole spirit. It's my whole aura. It's my mind. It's the brain part of it all. And it's the brain trying to work out and work with and reconcile the things that the spirit feels and senses. And I have many moments, especially in the last few years, that it's almost such an overwhelming, it's not overwhelming, but it's very close to overwhelming. So like these experiences when words don't describe it. Words suck at describing these experiences that I have, when it's like the universe opens your mind and just boom, puts a little seed in there and then shuts it back up and says, digest this, check this out. It's exactly like Doctor Strange when he's first touched on the forehead and the bald lady opens up his third eye, right? And he's like, that's how I feel. Do you guys ever feel like that? There has to be, I'm sure it's not just me, obviously. I don't want to make it sound like it's just me. I know that I just want to see you. I just want you to raise your hand so that I can like know that there's other people out there that have these moments, and it's almost to the point where you're like, okay. Like I got to walk around. I got to process like these visions and feelings and colors and smells and senses and memories, and you know what I mean? It's and then you have, and then when I get those sensations, then the next work that needs to be done is to take the pure, genuine feeling and experience that I have had that almost sent me over the edge and translate it into what we are doing, which is a presentation, so that I can build a bridge so that other people can grasp what I have just barely referenced. All right, there's a lot going on in the chat. Let me jump back in. Cassiopeia says, I told you in my message, East is up. Oh, is that you? Well, thank you. Thank you. I don't remember exactly who it was, but thank you. If that was you, thank you very much. Joni, you're welcome. You're welcome. Chuck and Chambers says, like a shaking, vibrating rip in reality. Yes. Leah totally agrees. Gary says it's one hell of a clown show. Yeah. Well said. I couldn't agree more. Killer clowns from outer space. Eyes to See says, Jay, the way you're feeling, many of us are feeling it. Good. Thank God. Jesus, man. Like, you have no idea. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. God, thank you. Because I need to hear that. And I think you guys need to hear that sometimes too. Leah says, Jay, I get crazy tingles, man. Oh, me too. Aaron B says, Jay, did or will you ever cover the movies Prometheus and the Cloverfield Paradox, or even going into CERN? Prometheus, probably not. Cloverfield, probably not. I have referenced those movies, but I don't really want to do a whole breakdown on those specific movies, just because I like doing movies that are like my favorite movies. Because I could break down any movie. It doesn't matter. It could be any movie. It could be totally seemingly unrelated, some Victorian era drama-filled, puke-filled, whatever. That's not my cup of tea. Something that I don't really like. And I could totally find the symbolism in it. All I have to do is open my eyes and watch it. They Live. I did do They Live. Oh yeah, that's right. You said you watched it. Sweet. Right on. Blake says, I hear you. Oh, thank God. Good to see you. It's good to see you, Blake. Seriously. Think More 111 says, I totally get it, Jay. Oh, good. Oh man, you guys I feel less alone at this particular moment in time. Gary Feltham says, exactly, Jay. Right on, right on. Oh, Cassiopeia is reading my book. Right on. That's cool. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope you get something. I hope you find value in it, really. Whatever that looks like. Aaliyah says, sometimes I just don't know what to do or how to sit with the information that I come across. It's like, wow, I feel you. Absolutely. Yes, good. What else do we got? What else? Radomir says, Jay, I just had the need to go out into the woods to find who I really am. I plan on going up on a nearby mountain. Up is key. Okay, right on. Sweet. I wish you luck. Heedful Gibbon says, Jay, the truth is the truth. It is a felt experience, often painful or exciting. No words are needed. Well, I love that. I do. If I had full on telepathic powers, right? I do have telepathic powers, but I'm talking about like X-Men style, right? I would probably just go bzz and just, instead of giving all this presentation with all these words, God, I use a lot of words, and it frustrates me sometimes. And that's why I apologize for rambling so often, because I don't like a lot of words, but it's nice sometimes because we're all kind of hanging out and I have people to talk to and I can get things off my chest, which I really mean off my heart, and which I really mean is off my mind, so that I don't just keep it all stored up inside of me. Prone to Wander says, JayDreamerZ, go deep into 21 Pilots. You will not be disappointed. Yeah, I'm not even done. Like, I'm fully convinced. Nah, I'm mostly convinced. Okay. I'm mostly convinced 21 Pilots knows exactly what they're talking about. They're not screwing with their fans. They're not putting stuff out just for, let's create a little Easter egg hunt for the fans or anything. No. Red Hot Chili Peppers, 21 Pilots, band after band after band after band, going far back for decades. They are blatant. Sometimes they come right out and say something. Like, they don't even have to color it in fancy metaphors and imagery. They could just say, hey, East is up. Are you listening? East is up. Like, it's that simple. Like, we are not crazy. Oh, good. Yes, I know. I know I'm not crazy. I'm not saying I feel crazy or anything like that. I'm just saying like when I get those experiences, I don't feel crazy. Okay. I feel at home. I feel so damn at home. I want to cry. I feel in love, truly in love in those moments of revelation. I don't know how to describe it. Zoe Williams says, Jay, I get you. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming to take it all in and it leaves me exhausted. I love it. Jay, Starseed energy for show. Yes, most likely. Candy Jones, all good. Right on. Thank you, Candy. Heedful Gibbon says, I understand. We got Escape from Babylon, who says System of a Down too. Yeah, I totally agree. System of a Down is another one. God, it's like everyone. I don't want to say it's everyone. I don't like absolutes, but it's a lot, right? It's out there all over the place. Plasma Bear says, thank you for sharing, Jay. Great minds vibrate alike. You're welcome. Good to see you too. Taylor Michael Thompson says, Jay, you're a gamer, right? Not really. I play video games, but it's like, I play Rocket League a lot. I play Fortnite a lot, which I'll be referencing in my next video. That's going to be called Amnesia Island. It's going to be about worldwide amnesia, how we forget, how there is vibrations and other chemical elements that and electric elements that wipe our brains and keep us from remembering the times that we live in now before the apocalypse. But yeah, I do play some games, You used to live stream. I sent you my music playing guitar before you used to do what you're doing now. Oh, okay. I don't remember. I'm super sorry, bro. But thank you. Thank you for sharing. What else? Seeking Yeshua says, Jay, I don't know about you, but when I saw Bible changes like wine skins become bottles, all of those Bible Mandela effects get me. Oh, they frustrate me, man. Because, it's like a big sign saying, hey, we changed your reality. That's how I feel about it. Immediate knowing that this realm is not what I thought it was. Okay, I love that as an example. The Mandela effect is pretty mind-blowing, I must say. Screen name 229. What's up, dude? Says, Jay, He-Man has a lot of this stuff in it too. You know what? That was my favorite cartoon. I have He-Man up on my computer. I probably have shown you guys that before. But anyways, yeah, He-Man's deep. And it's I love He-Man. I love Thundercats, He-Man, Silverhawks, all the old school good cartoons. Louis Martinez says, Jay, Mike Myers just started producing a series about the occult and everything that we talk about. Yes, and the main reason I have not done a presentation on that is because I watched the first episode, and although there is a lot of symbolism, it wasn't tasteful. So as a meal, sharing a meal with Mike Myers, his food that he gave, whatever truth he had to offer, was flavored with crap. Okay. And what I mean is I don't like, and I don't resonate with too much perversion. I don't like too much base attitude in my meal. Okay. A lot of butt jokes and disgusting, inappropriate stuff. And I can get the information somewhere else. I don't need Mike Myers. I don't need him. So that might be for somebody else that's walking a different path. Gino Constantino says, JayDreamerZ, check out the lyrics to Magenta Mountain by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. No way. Oh my God. Should be relevant to today's stream. Oh, I'm going to have to remember that. I always rewatch the live streams and I take notes and I go check out lots of the stuff that you guys recommend. Excuse me. Plasma Bear says, whoa, I play the same 2 games, Jay. Rocket League and Fortnite too. Yeah, those are the main ones I play. Every once in a while I like to play Friday the 13th because it's kind of creepy and scary. And then I play this one called Cake Bash with my little boy. That one's fun. It's just a kid's game. It's fun though. But yeah. I'm probably going to play some of those games later tonight too, because I need a break. That's why I play video games. And even then, even when I'm playing video games, I'm like, oh my God, that's totally plasma apocalypse symbolism or whatever. I can't escape it. But it's kind of one way that I ground myself, just to play some games or whatever. Oh yeah, Pentaverant or whatever wasn't what I wanted from the show. Yeah, there's too much butt jokes and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of that. Like all of that real base humor, like all the scary movie franchises, like there's a lot of truth in those movies. But man, I just can't digest that. I can't eat that stuff. Like it tastes disgusting to me. I know that I could get some nourishment from it, but man, if I've got an alternative that doesn't taste like crap, I'm going to have the alternative. Like Great Hope says, does anyone think that time travel is possible to be unlocked through consciousness? Like internally, no machine needed. Yeah, I'm sure somebody thinks that. Heedful Gibbon says, Jay and everyone in this chat. Ooh, you have everyone's attention now. I think that there is a space beyond this realm, dimension, world, whatever you want to call it. Well, I think so too. Taylor Michael Thompson is super in the chat tonight. I like that because I get to know you guys more. The more you guys comment and stuff like that, the more I start recognizing your picture or your name and stuff. And then I feel like I know you a little better. So it's nice to meet you, Taylor. Taylor Michael Thompson says, Jay, do you believe in space? If you ask me a question that starts with, do you believe? My answer will always be yes. Just as a heads up, I believe in everything. Everything is true. Everything has truth to it, right? It just needs to be unraveled. Jay, do you believe in space as NASA presents it to us? Yeah, parts of it, but no. In general, the answer is no, not really. I believe that there's truth to some of the things they teach. For example, they teach that those stars way out there, when they get really hot, they turn blue. And when they get really cold, they turn red. I believe there's totally truth to that. And our sun is going through that right now, as is our moon, right? I believe that the colors of our world also change. The sky colors change. Sometimes we have a red sky. Sometimes we have a blue sky. Sometimes we have a green sky. It's different colors. So yes, I totally believe in some of that. But the main narrative that you're supposed to look up at the ceiling and I'm supposed to, like if you look up at the ceiling, there's like these little tiny things, I don't know what those are actually. I'm looking at my own ceiling right now, but there's little bumps on the ceiling. That would be like looking up at your ceiling and considering each one of those little bumps like being way far away, like you're looking through the ceiling. All right, let me jump back in the chat here and give everyone else a little comment love. Radomir. I like saying your name like that. Radomir. I feel like you should be in Russia. Radomir says, Jay, check out the Ringing Cedar series by Vladimir Merge. Oh, check that out. It happened to match. The Ringing Cedars. I will check that out. I haven't. I've been meaning to, though, for years. So thank you for the reminder. Heedful Gibbon says, Jay, that space beyond the firmament does not look like or function the way that they show us in Hollywood movies or school books. I think it's a powerful, bright, radiant space churning with energy. And I totally agree. So 2 people have asked me about what I think about space. Let me just give you the breakdown and the gist of what I think about space. First of all, when you look up, I believe that when I look up, I know in my mind that I am looking at the underneath side of a solid object. Okay. So when I look up at the black darkness, I know that it's black and dark because something is covering the light. The light is heaven. The light is the Elysian fields. The light is the glory of space, as it should be. And as you know, as a child, that space should be bright and beautiful because it's full of stars, right? The stars themselves are just little lights, little holes, okay? Little tiny suns, little points of focus, right? Created probably by the craters that are on that surface that redirect the light and redistribute it to create little mini focal points, possibly. I do believe that you can escape the sky, that you can leave the sky, and when you go out into what we commonly call space, you'll be in for a surprise, okay? That there is a lot out there, but it will be filled with stuff. Not black and dark and empty and you have to travel for light years to get somewhere. It'll feel like you'll be able to just reach out and touch another world. There's a lot of stuff out there. And it's colorful and it's bright, etc. Let's see what else we got. We got Uya Sizu says, appreciation, Jay. Thank you. Lately, I've been randomly vibrating a lot on different occasions and I feel rumbling coming from the ground. I do too, actually. I believe that some of these sounds that we hear are coming from the ground. I think that the ground emits sound. And when you're on the ground, sometimes you don't hear that sound as if it's coming from the ground. You have to wait for it to hit the sky and then come back down, or parts of the sky, and then to bounce back down. And then you hear it and you're like, whoa, the sky. Sometimes. We got Stan Rutherford who says, Jay, I totally agree. There's truth in everything, even the lies. That's the easiest way to lie, is to tell a little bit of truth with it. Very good. Very good. Rhonda says, Jay, could you elaborate on the Tet and the Niners? Yes, absolutely. So the glyph for a Tet, which is the 9th letter, which is corresponds to the number 9, is a circle with an X right in the middle. That is the number Tet. Tet is the root of Thoth, like the god Thoth, right? Tet is the root of Titan, the Titans. Tet is the place of the giants. Tet is indirectly related to Tartarians and stuff like that. I don't really want to turn this into a Tartaria video, so I probably shouldn't have mentioned that, but because it's just so different subject. Actually, that's not true. It's the same subject. You could ask about Tartaria. It's fine. But in short, since I opened that can of worms, I believe that Tartaria are the lost tribes of the Tree of Life. And I did a whole video about that called The Lost Tribe of the Tree of Life. And that is the Tatarian. It's not Tartarian. It's Tet. It's the same root word. Tet, Tat. Same thing. The Tatarians. The Tetarian. Think about it. All right, what else do we got? Anybody else? Man, you guys are active in the chat. How many people are watching? Let me give a shout out to all the people who are not in the chat. And everyone else not sitting on a cushion. Hey, welcome. Honestly, it's good to see you. I'm glad. I feel your energy. You might not be in the chat or whatever, and that's totally cool. I'm honored that you just tuned in for just a second to share your day with me. I'm a part of your life now, and you're a part of mine. So because of that, I feel honored that I get to sort of indirectly meet or be a part of so many of your lives. It's overwhelming to me sometimes. Eyes to See says, Jay, I live with a science teacher. That must be fun. He comes home depressed about all the BS he has to teach our little Aussies from the curriculum. Well, that's sad. But, man, I want to tell you there's good news. He doesn't have to, right? I get it. I get the world that we live in. I do. Hey, Matt, thank you, man. Appreciate you. So, hey, I feel free. My heart goes out to you, and I hope that your situation changes, and I hope that you figure out a remedy for that particular problem. All right, I lost my chat. Hold on one sec. We got Heedful Gibbon who says, Jay, my favorite quote is from Nikola Tesla. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomenon, it will make more progress in 1 decade than all of the previous centuries of its existence. I like that quote too, except for referring to science as some sort of entity when it's not. I think we have that misconception a lot. Like we in general, the populace of the world, we always say, science says this, science says that. Science doesn't say crap because science is not a person. It's not a movement. It's not a people. It's not a group. It's just something that someone does or receives, basically. But yeah, other than that, I love that quote too, and I love Tesla. Oh, and dang, I was going to give the shout out to the person that just joined my website. Jay is a star. Hey, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging. Rico Star is also a star. Says, JayDreamerZ, why is there a space blanket? I don't know what you're talking about. A space blanket. Not sure. Are you talking about those little foil things you get at the dollar store that keep the heat in? And you could survival blanket or something? I'm not sure. All right, I'm jumping back into the chat. Oh, thank you, Matt. Super appreciate you. Again, as always, you're awesome. And thank you for the little sticker. Taylor Michael Thompson says, Jay, have you looked into any of the unclassified documents on wormholes or portals? Probably not, is probably my initial answer. Because I have my own idea of wormholes and portals. In short, wormholes are plasma conduits. Okay. Black holes are the openings between worlds, right? And when the worlds open, when their skies open, right, there's a plasma conduit or energetic hallway that connects various worlds and branches out. And that's kind of how I see that. I am Copy says, Jay, thoughts on The Little Prince? I'm lost. I'm sorry. I don't know what The Little Prince is. I'm not sure what that's about. Sarah says, hi, JayDreamerZ. I've been listening, just giving my bonsai trees their daily TLC. Right on. Bonsai! Bonsai! I love that part. Aaron, I'm just checking out your picture. Like you have a sweet picture. Says, that's me, Jay. Thanks so much. You're super welcome. Let's see. Aaron, I like your picture because you remind me of a wizard. You have like a wizardly look to you. Leah says, Jay, really looking forward to the amnesia video. I've known since I was a child that we've lost our memories of history and where we come from. I totally agree. History has been forgotten. It's been wiped clean. That's why I call it and refer to it as ancient oblivion. It is our ancient past that has been obliterated or forgotten. Right? We do not forget. We have terrible memories. I'm going to go into more depth on that in the future. Let's see. Oh, Serving Angel says, nobody told me about this stuff back then. This was the 80s, long before the internet. You're super welcome, Serving Angel. But hey, I was alive in the 80s too. And I can remember a lot, in hindsight, a lot of these good breadcrumbs and nuggets of wisdom that have been dropped right on my path. It's just, did I recognize it at the time that I received it, that it was given to me? Did I receive it, really? Joni Vandy says, Jay, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro, seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. True north, east, truth. Yep, that's definitely sounds like it's in the Bible. Catherine says, Jay, having the veil removed from your eyes and have glimpses of the beings around us. Yeah, beings are everywhere. Like I was talking to my son about ghosts, right? Because I believe in ghosts. I believe in everything. And my brother is literally and actually a ghost hunter. He wants to find ghosts. He wants to understand them better. He's a ghost hunter. And my son was kind of afraid of ghosts and stuff. So we were having a discussion and I was telling him, like, life is everywhere. There is energy that you call a ghost, right? Spirit, all over the place, right? And it's just that when we don't understand it, we have a fear. And that fear is to motivate us to understand it, to learn more so that we don't have the fear any longer. And he felt so much better after that. Louis Martinez says, Jay, do you think north has to do with the position of the sun? No, not at all. Not really. The sun goes around in the middle. Oh, actually, yes. Actually, that's true. Okay, so it does. So every other apocalyptic cycle, the sun, on one cycle, the sun will go too far out past one of the tropics towards the south, and it will disappear. On the other cycle, the other apocalypse, the sun will go too far past the tropic in the north, and it will tighten and tighten and tighten until it stands still right above the North Pole, as will the moon, I believe. We'll have a great conjunction. So yeah, there's definitely some relationship there. Heedful Gibbons says, Jay, the pillars of science are weak, like the house of cards. Well, I mean, that's the road that brought me to where I am right now. So what do you think about that? Like, that's the road I started on. If it wasn't for that, I might not be here talking to so many hundreds of people right now. So it all depends on your perspective, I suppose. But I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. Thanks, Gary. Candy Jones, thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it. It actually means a lot that you let me know, like, hey, the sound's good, the video's good. Tadius Flugabile says, Jay, is science a means to a paycheck? Could be. Do we live under a cottage cheese ceiling? Oh, like that. It does look like cottage cheese. You're right. Oh my God. I just, that's a great description. But yeah, we do. Probably. Rit says, howdy, Jay. Hey, what's up? Welcome, Rit. Welcome to my channel. It's good to see you. Let me welcome you with my eyes. I'm wearing the yellow glasses right now. Because mostly I wanted like this to go with the 21 Pilots yellow theme. Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, I just want to say hello with my own eyes, right? Good to meet you. Aaron B says, Jay, do you think dreaming is going into other dimensions? No offense, I'm going to skip that question for now, just because we're about to wrap things up. I don't want to get too off topic. Jay, I have like 50 subs and you're in my top 5. Thank you. You're super welcome. Cynthia Avalos says, JayDreamerZ, I grew up with ghosts. Right on, right on. Taylor Michael Thompson says, Jay, a velociraptor came into my room/mind in 2019 and talked to me telepathically. She let me see only one of her eyes in the mirror in my room. That is super interesting. It's also like a little bit, it's a lot. I don't understand really what you're talking about. I'm sorry. It sounds cool. I mean, a velociraptor coming into your room is awesome. I'd love to, if we were friends in real life, I would ask you a lot more about that. Also, it says, she told me what would happen in this lifetime, and she told me we'll be able to use powers when the beam happens. Yeah, totally. That's the sign. That's the sign that you're waiting for. That's the sign that they talk about. You know what? Let's do some bonus content, yeah? Hold on. Gino says, JayDreamerZ, there's a feeling I get when I look to the west, and my spirit is crying for leaving Stairway to Heaven. Ooh, good catch. I like that one. Thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate you. Noxon says, I went skateboarding when you started, and you're still streaming. I love you, Jay. Keep doing what you do. You're super welcome. PQM Construction 2003 says, Jay, we all should have a code word or something to recognize like-minded survivors. Because when this place does pop, it's going to be us against the elite that make it. And it's going to be hell. I mean, I can't say I disagree. So, good idea. Smoke a J and fly away. Okay. All right. Let me go back to some screen sharing. I want to share one more thing with everyone about 21 Pilots. Remember I was talking about all the lore and stuff? And this is kind of for everyone who just hung out through all the extra, chatting after the presentation type stuff. But I want to share something with all of you from that website. If I could find it here. There we go. Now, on this website, this is the 21 Pilots lead singer, Tyler. From what I understand is the story goes that he leaked this letter that is actually from his character called Clarence. Excuse me. This guy's a gangsta. His real name's Clarence. And Clarence's parents live at home and have a real good marriage. Anyways, what am I doing? Screen share. There we go. Not that. Not that. Boom. There we go. All right, so let me read this letter from Clarence, who is stuck inside the walls of Dema, can't get out of the wall. It's a walled city, just like our world, right? And in the letter, he actually talks about how the west wall, the west entrance is blocked, meaning you can't go down into the earth. So this is really interesting stuff. Let's check this out. I'm going to read this, then we're going to wrap it up. What is this thing, this device, this gift? Some sort of neurological connection or expansion? Psychokinetic weapon? This is absurd. Why was this given to me? Why am I the only one that can wield it? Was this the reason that I survived? My mind is racing as I wait here on the rocks, staring off into the darkness, waiting for our torches to be mirrored. The signal he told me to wait for. Waiting for our torches to be mirrored. Waiting for our inner light to spark other inner lights. It is the Great Awakening. Also, the signal that we are told to wait for is the light. It's a light that everyone will see. It's the signal. Just like is said in Ghostbusters, when he's like, wait for the signal, then all the prisoners will be released, or whatever. It feels oddly familiar. Not the spikes in my hand, spikes meaning tingly sensation because of the electricity, possibly, but the power that it harnesses. I've felt it before. Is this also the source of those rumors I heard in the dark corners of the city? Legends and stories that I assumed were myth, inspired by children's nightmares. Tales of what the bishops would use the bodies for. Those honorable citizens who achieved the glorious gone, referred to as available vessels. Who was that in the chat? I missed it. Hold on. Oh, Ken. Hey, thanks, Ken. Super appreciate you guys. Good to see you. Shout out to Ken and family. All right, back to our story here. It all begins to make sense. The episodes I would have, the blood red vision, my dreams of flying, the out-of-body account of the rider in the river, the decaying hosts of the television show, the robed figures that command the doomed ship. Had we all been seized by the bishop using this same technique? Is this where their power comes from? Are they immortal or just feeding off of the next body, giving their hosts a brief second life? I am in my original life. Why am I available to this control? This whole time, I thought that I was battling my inner self. I was actually under assault from something else. Or was I actually under assault from something else? Someone else. Now I want to point this out. He says this whole time, I thought that I was battling my inner self. There's millions of 21 Pilots fans and lots of theories. Okay, basically the main theory is that all of this is just a fancy story that is internalized about Tyler, the lead singer's inner struggles, about depression or thoughts of suicide or anxiety or whatever. And they just internalize everything. This guy literally comes out, whether it be Tyler or not, and he says, this whole time I thought I was battling my inner self, but it turns out that this is reality. This is physical. This is actually happening on a physical scale. Also probably internally, right? This small eerie island, North Pole Island, right? The island of amnesia. This small eerie island has made me a weapon. We both believe that we can use it to change the momentum of this war. Now, we must return to the mainland, where they should be there to receive us. We will destroy and rebuild. Though it's been years since the last that we spoke to them, I hope that they have not lost faith in the Torchbearer's plan. But how could any of this have been planned? That's just one letter out of this entire website. Look at this. They've got pictures where they've got they call it the psi symbol, right? Which is SAI, which allegedly is short for Scaled and Icy, which is the name of their new album. But that's an anagram for Clarence is dead, which is really interesting too. Zoe, hey, thank you, Zoe. And then as you can see, they have the whole Squatterman symbolism there, with the blue beam coming up from the middle, the other beams coming up on the sides, going down under the earth, etc. This is pretty detailed. If this is like a hoax, that's my least favorite explanation. When people just jump on the hoax train, they're like, it's just a hoax. You know, hey, someone wrote a 1,500 volume, ancient historical record and talks about weird stuff. Oh, that's probably just a hoax. This was a hoax 1,200 years ago when they didn't have computers and it wasn't that easy to write an entire book. It was a hoax, really? Like, I don't know. I'm not super convinced by that, but whatever. Anyways, there's lots of letters here. If you want to check this website out, it's called dma.org.info. So DMA, like Dema, org.info/found/15398642_14/Clancy.html. And the only reason that I have access to this is because other people followed the trail of breadcrumbs. Other people found this. So yes, I'm not one of those people, like some people will believe like the surface level story, which is, this is going to give them more fans and they're going to make more money and stuff off of it or whatever. There may be that truth to what you're seeing here. But there's likely, based on mounds and mounds of work that must be put into stuff like this. There's all kinds of clues and riddles and stuff hidden in every single one of these letters and pictures and stuff. Very interesting stuff. And this guy goes into detail. If you read all of this, you'll see a lot of plasma apocalypse symbolism. You'll see a lot of symbolism of the world that we live in as I've been describing it and going over it. Some of the things are inverted. The colors are inverted. I like that they did this because it reminds me of my book. This is how my book looks. I've got black pages and white print. So great minds think alike, I guess, right? Interesting. They hide all this weird stuff and then they keep saying moon. They call all of these entries moon entries. Because they're going to leave. They're going to leave this world and go to the world across from us, likely, which is our moon, or what we see up in the sky, right? The real moon, the actual moon, way bigger. So anyways, yeah, lots of cool stuff. This is an interesting little map there that they got. I'm not going to break down the video right now. Maybe I'll save that as a bonus because I'm going to do The Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. Last time I broke that song down, it was removed. YouTube got all pissed about it and took it down. So I'm going to redo it. All right, boom. Cool. All right, well, hey, thanks to all of you. I love you guys. I have fully enjoyed this time together. So hopefully people don't get too overwhelmed by how long the video is. I hope that, people at least pay attention and get the gist of it. That there are esoteric directions that we have forgotten, being the east is up, west is inward, inside the earth. And why would they get rid of those, right? Well, they want to get rid of the concept of leaving this world by going up. They want to get rid of the concept of going to a safer place, which is inside of the earth, by going down, by going inside of the earth. Those concepts were not concepts that they wanted others to have because they like to keep their currency, our energy, which is a current. They like to keep it here because they want to use it. They want to tap into your energy and my energy. And they can't do that if we leave. They can't do that if we take off and go inside the earth or outside of the world or whatever. Not only that, but legends associate going to those places with an increase in knowledge and an increase in realization of deeper truths. So it's easier to keep people enslaved when they don't have access to those deeper truths. Right on. Well, hey, I'm going to go. I'm going to go ground myself because I've been so way up there. My entire mind has just floated eastward for about the last 2 hours. I'm going to go ground myself, and take a break from my studies and stuff. And hey, I love you guys. It's been great. I suck at goodbyes. I'm sorry. Right on. Well, I'm going to wrap things up. Until next time, I'm JayDreamerZ saying good vibes and goodbye.